Sure.
Happy Monday, everyone out there watching, and welcome back to another episode of Notes on Conscious Leadership, where me and my colleagues here come together and share our notes on conscious leadership. And of course, this is a service from us. We're everyday conscious leaders for everyday conscious leaders. I'm Taylor, pretty much the organizer of this and affiliate CSM coach. And I have Mahir here with me, who is a creative self-mastery executive coach, Mark DeFrancia, who is the leader and founder of Creative Self Mastery, and Stanley Fisher, an executive coach as well at Creative Self Mastery. So welcome, guys. Welcome again back with me. Happy to have you. Today, we have brought the topic around a premise that we use where we see everyone as powerful. And I'm relating this topic to kind of a buzzword that I see a lot around LinkedIn, around diversity and inclusion. So what does it mean to really create like a diverse place or a safe place as everyone seems to always be looking for? And so we're going to dig into that and get into more details. So I'd like to kick us off with you, Mark. I would love for you, if you're game, to share with us this premise of viewing everyone as powerful.
Okay. Well, I think we start at the idea that this isn't going to be a popular viewpoint, but that when we acknowledge diversity and make certain things practice within our company, we are not, in fact, leading. We're leading, by numbers, basically, based on, on something that isn't necessarily bespoke to our company. So we bring a bunch of people in, in the name of diversity. And they're there, as far as I'm concerned, for the wrong reason. If we're bringing somebody in because of their diverse background, that's great if they can do the job that they were brought in to do. And to me, this idea of focusing on diversity when we hire takes people out of their power. It assumes that they are not powerful enough to make it in the world on their own, that they have to have a leg up because of some aspect of their diversity. To me, you put the best person for the job in the position. That's how you make an efficient company, and you get those people to work together towards the same vision. That's how you make a productive company. And so simply hiring somebody because they fit a profile doesn't necessarily get you to where you want to go. Likewise, personally, anybody to me who's willing to be hired because of a profile, they fit a profile, I don't know why you'd want to work for that company. That company is assuming that you and everybody who fits that profile is not powerful. Right? You need a leg up, that you are not capable, that the system is geared against you. Look, I'm sorry, there's no condition that needs to exist in order for you to have the experiences that you want. Clarence Thomas is an older black man sitting on the Supreme Court. I find it really hard to believe that he wasn't able to create the life he wanted. I'm sure was allowed to be powerful and to act powerful, and is still allowed to be powerful and act powerful. When we assume that somebody isn't powerful, then we're going to start doing things for them. We're going to start making exceptions for them, and we're going to start having to bring in false harmony in order to keep a group together. And we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, Mahir, if you're hot and ready to jump in and
Well, I'm hot, ready, and brown on this very white panel. I'm just gonna say it for our audience, so they don't feel some type of way.
We threw you in for diversity. We know you're powerless.
Right, exactly.
But I want to point out, we are a group of 4 people. There are 2 white men here, 1 woman, 1 brown dude, but also there's 1 gay man. So we're a very diverse group of individuals, but we don't focus on that.
Yeah, look, the reason why we're together is actually shared vision and shared values. That's the main reason. That's what has the power, right? That's why we're all together and we banded together to do the stuff that we're doing, the work that we're doing, and to raise the consciousness of the planet, to serve people in leading themselves so they can lead others powerfully. But as from the perspective of being someone who is, say, brown, that I would be potentially profiled. Look, I've never had a narrative or a story that suggests that just because I'm brown, that I'm going to have a different experience. Now, look, that might have been a huge fluke on my part when it comes to my narrative, when I've sort of formed the stories over the course of, me growing up, and then in my schooling, and then in my career. But as I've kind of grown to do the work that I do, I am very aware that it's very easy for some people, and even for me, like, I can play the diversity card, the race card. It's very easy for me to buy into that narrative if I'm not mindful that, look, if I make my skin color, my appearance, my identity a reason for me to not have an opportunity, or not have what I want, or not have the experience that I want, then I'm going to fall victim to that. And I'm going to, we talk about not taking other people out of our power, but then I also have, if you fall in the category of being profiled, then we have the personal responsibility. I have the personal responsibility to make sure that I do not buy into that narrative and see myself as powerful. It's my job to see myself as powerful, and not to make any excuses. Really, this is an excuse. It might be a little, it might hit hard. It might not really sound good on your ears when I say this, but any other reasons why you can't be who you want to be and be the opportunity you want to have is an excuse. And I work diligently to make sure that's never the case. And it's really sort of, it's quite interesting, and sometimes it can be discouraging how easily people can fall into that, and I'll be like, oh, it's because I have this color skin, or I have this gender, or whatever. Guys, like, we get it. There is a reality of it, but then we have to ask ourselves, who do we want to be in the face of that, regardless? And that's a question that is pertinent all the time. So I want to kind of just state that, kind of set the tone appropriately for this conversation as well.
That's good.
To back Mark up as well on the other half of that.
Well, to take what Mihir and Mark are saying, I worked in corporate industries for a long time, and I would see, in the whole companies that I worked for, they would see somebody put into a leadership position, and they knew that they were put in those positions because of what we're talking about right now. And the whole company, the staff would lose respect, and they would lose a certain amount of control over the staff because, in the background, they knew that they weren't really qualified for the job. They were put there for a different agenda. And what Mihir's saying is that there was some of us on the staff, not me really, but there were other people on the staff that, would be very disrespectful to that person or to other people, and talk a lot of nastiness behind the scenes. And it was like a cancer inside the company of how people handled it. And it was not only disempowering to a lot of people, but that nastiness was really hard to deal with and stomach when you're trying to execute an end result and trying to be who you want to be in that environment. So yeah, I've seen a lot of it. I've even seen it in organizations like fire departments, nursing hospitals, where we're in service to people's well-being, and they put people in leadership positions that aren't there.
I went through it firsthand with the Boston Police Department. I scored a 97 on the police exam, but as a white man, I have to score 100. There were people that scored in the 60s that got placed because of their gender and because of their skin color. And I, who scored 97, did not get placed. And I'm sorry, but I don't care if we're supposed to be making quotas to make things look good or to make things even. The police force is a team. If I don't feel that I'm being treated equally on a team, that somebody else is given more than I'm given simply because they are thought to be more powerless, I don't see how that serves anybody. I don't see how it serves me. I don't see how it serves that person. I don't see how it serves the team. In order for a team to be successful, everybody has to be powerful and everybody has to be seen. Everybody has to be seen for what they can contribute to the end result and to what the team's trying to create. And so I don't really see how putting people that are woefully inappropriate for the position into a position simply in the name of diversity. This isn't a really popular position, especially for an old white dude to be espousing. And, I'm an old white dude. I'm also an old gay dude. So, I've been through this. Here's the kicker. They wanted me to apply to be on the police force because I was gay. and they felt like they needed some of that influence, but I couldn't qualify as a minority. So, it's all over the place. None of this is based, none of these policies are based on what's best for the company or best for the people in the company. It's just based on optics. Yeah. I'm not my cheerful self today, as you may tell, because I'm really fucked off with what's going on in this country right now. Again, to me, a woeful display of leadership from all sides. I've never been more disappointed with everybody, including my own friends, who aren't capable of being able to see what really happened. A 20-year-old boy died in this country because he felt that his leadership left him no alternative but to try and murder somebody, to prevent it from getting as bad as it could get, as he believes it's going to get. He gave his life, 20 years old, because of poor leadership. And here we are having a conversation about more poor leadership. So fucking sick of poor leadership. I want fucking people to lead consciously. What's so fucking difficult about assuming that everybody's powerful and can have a say in everything, including their own lives? Why do I have to be in a country where my vote doesn't even count? What's the point? I can't do anything about this election because I don't have a vote that counts. Somebody makes a decision that what vote I cast takes me completely out of my power and says, this is what I think you meant. So this is the vote I'm going to cast for you. That's the Electoral College, for anybody who's not familiar with that. Designed originally because people were undereducated and couldn't make their own minds up, based on the premise that people are stupid and powerless. Right? This is what we're talking about here. All of this, it's all this policy. None of it is designed to do what it's supposed to be doing. It's not making things better. It's all designed on the idea that we're all too fucking powerless to have a say in our own lives. Yeah. Sad. This country disappoints me. I love this country, but it disappoints me.
Yeah. I think it's even dude. No, but look, what you're saying.
Yeah, it's necessary. It would be like so artificial for us to come in here and just pretend like that's not going on.
Yeah, it wouldn't just, it'd be out of integrity for us not to name the things that we need to name. And we're not trying to sugarcoat anything here in these conversations. There's a lot of, I think it's a disease of the amount of disempowerment that happens between us in our leadership, in our relationships. And, what Mark is talking about is on a systemic level, on a true structural level for our entire nation. And then, but I want to, on the flip side of that is I also want to kind of highlight what can we do? Like, I want us to have a little glimmer of hope despite the madness.
Yes,
and the stupidity that we witness on a daily basis. Look, I honestly think this is one of the things I truly believe. I know it in my bones. I think each and every one of us knows what it means to be powerful. Deep down, that you have an innate knowing what is powerful. But because of your conditioning, because of your wounding, because of your narratives, because of the systemized disempowerment of yourself and the narratives that disempower you and make you out to be powerless, that portray other people as powerless, it kind of just robs you of your own self-reference. It takes away from you kind of connecting to a higher part of you, to your intuition, so you can make the type of connections that you need to make and see others as powerful, to actually give them not just like basic empathy, but actual true compassion, and to kind of move energy in a really productive way to the best outcome for everybody. So my perspective on this and everything that we're about, especially at Creative Self-Mastery and Everyday Conscious Leadership, is that level of personal responsibility. But even in Mark's example, it's being okay that even if Mark is expressing his pain and his frustration, his disappointment, a space needs to be had for, in any dynamic, any relationship, any community, that he can voice this, that we can voice this and we can hear each other out. It's so important. And we're not afraid. We're not afraid of other people's pain or the tension that it brings when people get emotional. Like, I think a lot of the times we're just, I want to use the word educated or trained, but we're not trained or educated or assimilated in a world where it's okay to express ourselves. And even the expression in itself, even if we're in pain, is a powerful act. We're just taught to either sort of compensate for it or to deny it or to just really just have an unhealthy relationship with expressing our power in whatever state they're in, even if we're in a state of victimization or we're feeling it, or if life has hit us hard, we're told that it's not okay to be this way and
Well, wait a
it's
minute.
wrong.
Well, what are you
Go on.
saying? You're saying it's okay to sit there and bitch about being a victim all the time?
No, I'm getting something different actually, and I wanted to add once Mahir was finished with his thought, because this.
Sorry, because I swear there are people out there. If anyone's listening, there are people out there going, "Oh yay, I have permission now to just
No,
like
no, no,
follow in
not
my."
at all. No,
No, but
no,
that's exactly it, because Mahir made the distinction between empathy and compassion. So, this group of people right here I'm sitting with, they have seen me plenty of times at my worst where I'm like so far gone in my emotions and victimization, but none of them empathize with me. They can feel my emotions too, but they don't go down into that with me, but they have understanding and they're like, yeah, but Taylor, remember you're powerful. And they speak to that part of me until I pick myself back up and come out of that and return into my natural powerful state. That's the type of spaces we need. And spaces like this, I was telling these guys before we went live today, like, there's so many women's groups here in Berlin, and I've never really quite understood it, because the premise is that, oh, if we all meet together as women, then we'll be safe and we'll advance and we'll finally defeat the patriarchy. And I've never been a woman who feels oppressed by the patriarchy. There's been moments, right, where I'm like, dude, this masculinity is coming at me strong and I feel a little bit scared. But I know that I have my own masculinity and my own femininity that I can kind of play with and step into and come from my own place of power and make my space in a room full of men, like I'm doing right now. I'm sitting here with 3 men. Am I threatened by them? Am I scared? No, not anymore. They showed me like, hey, Taylor, you're powerful. And they gave me the space to actually step into that power and be like, oh shit, I can talk like this in front of these guys. I don't have to, make a safe space to bitch and moan about how the patriarchy is, whatever, doing shit to me and muffling me. Cause it's not, I found out that it wasn't true. And I get to come and I get to sit here and do this and lead by example and show like, hey, look, women, we want to make a difference. Let's go in the rooms with all the different people, true diversity, and be ourselves and be in our power and make shit move and happen.
Yeah, and
I think that's what you were saying.
And I want to add two notes to that. And one, we don't sit around and commiserate around things. And number one, that's one of our values, is to not do that. And the other thing is, you're always in your power. You're either powerfully going to serve the situation or you're going to powerfully be a victim to it.
Well, yeah, that I was just look. I've done this for a long time, and I see people don't need very much of an excuse to give themselves permission to be a victim and to give their power over in a situation. Again, largely what's happening in this country right now. This kid felt like a victim. He wanted to do something powerful. It cost him his life. 20 years old. 20 years old. Right? He's a child. Right? But he's got so many thoughts and feelings, and he feels so powerless. He feels he has to do something. He has to do something. Yeah. But it's not him. It's the way everybody else reacted that bothers me. The powerlessness that everybody else is experiencing and the way they're experiencing it. Oh, he was a Republican. He's 20 years old. He's a registered Republican. At 18 years old, he registered Republican. He supported the Democratic Party. Who cares whether he's a Republican or a Democrat? Who cares what label he put on? He's dead. Where's your fucking focus, right? What kind of leaders are you trying to be? This is a group about everyday conscious leadership. Everyday conscious leadership. That means you're leading every situation you're in. When you put something on Facebook, you're leading the situation. And you're deciding what kind of shit goes into the world. What kind of fucking negativity, what kind of powerlessness you want to touch on for other people. What the virtual fuck? You wonder why it doesn't get any better? You think posting on Facebook is going to make things better? It's not. Get involved. Make a change. Well, like my father said, if you don't care enough to get involved and make a change, you forfeit your right to bitch.
Amen.
Don't bitch.
I want to add to anyone out there who's listening, because Mark is constructively using his anger right now, something I never knew of until I met him last year. And so to anyone who's feeling uncomfortable right now with Mark's, like, yeah, where he's at, like, that's also part of this, because we also have a tendency to put people out of their power by like, he's angry, so there must be something wrong. I have to act in a certain way now and disempower myself and everyone around us so that we can calm this fire, this anger that's happening. But no, actually, if you're listening to what Mark's saying, and there's so much energy and power in what he's saying, then there's a lot that you'd miss out on if you were to step out of your power rather than step in.
That's the thing. Something is going to challenge you and send you out of your power. This is why I was saying to me here, if everybody talks about their thoughts and feelings, then everybody has carte blanche to come out of their power, because thoughts and feelings take us out of our power. Sometimes they make us feel good. Sometimes they don't. Most of the times they don't. And they have us thinking about how we're victimized, or how we're hopeless in this situation, or how we can never get it right, or whatever. Thoughts and feelings, right? So I get big and animated, and it triggers thoughts and feelings in people. And they say, oh, he's scary. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. We should tone him down. Well, you could try and take me out of my power. Good luck with that. You could rise and be in your power too. Everybody who works with me has to rise to be in their power. That's why I don't change who I am. This is me. I'm 58 years old. I'm fully cooked. I am not looking for more personal development. I develop every fucking day as a human being. I develop every day as a leader. Right? I don't need to go take more courses on managing anger or anything like that. This is who I am. Deal with it. Be powerful. What are you going to do? Not employ me because I'm perfectly suited for the job, probably the best person for the job, but you don't like that I'm a little bit abrasive? Deal with it. Have some fucking integrity. Stand in your power. Not everybody has to manage me with anger back. Lots of people just turn around and go, I know exactly how to deal with Mark, because there's nothing to deal with. This anger that you perceive, that's you. You're perceiving anger. I'm just emphatic. Every call center in the world thinks I'm more than emphatic. They think I'm angry, but that's not. This is the way I talk. Yeah. Right? Don't be powerless around it, and don't take me out of my power by assuming that just because this is the way I am, that there means there's something wrong with me. Yeah? Anger is a generative force, and I have a right to be angry. Children are dying, and we're talking about what fucking party they represented. Shame on you. Shame on you. I have a right to be angry.
Yes. No, thanks for that, Mark. And I was, what I was saying around, people are always, everyone's more than ready to kind of bear their victimization more than anything. If anyone wants to listen to it, people will share away. And what I'm trying to say, the flip side was this, is we have to be powerful enough to shut it down and say, rather than being dismissive around it, rather than being victimized by another person's victimization, that needs to stop. Right? A lot of things, the best leaders know how to be like, okay, you can see it, have an objective experience of someone's victimization and saying, look, that is not conducive to the end result that we're going for. To actually get them to come, meet them where they're at, of course, but by all means, we have to invite that other person to come up to our level, our vibration, to the energy that actually moves the energy to the best possible direction for all. And specifically, look, emotions, thoughts, and feelings, if we don't have a healthy relationship to them, it's going to rule our lives, and it's going to do exactly what this 20-year-old kid, what he went through. He was consumed by them and he acted them out. We all act out our thoughts and feelings all the time if we don't bring consciousness to it and we don't bring conscious leadership to it. And look, at the end of the day, look, no one's coming to save us, ladies and gentlemen. Our governments are failing us. The infrastructures are failing us. The institutes are failing us. Schooling is failing us. All of it is failing us. The responsibility falls to us. It's a personal leadership objective that we've got to actually incorporate into our being going forward. This is what it means to be an everyday conscious leader. We have to take personal responsibility for it. It might seem daunting. It might seem a little bit scary. It's not. The alternative is that you'll continue to be a victim. You become a petal. You stay a petal in the wind, and you, in worst case scenario, you become a victim to other people's victimization at some point. So, and one of the things I do want to speak to specifically anger. I think anger is, I didn't think we would go down this route, but I think it's important that we mention it. Everyone is angry because powerlessness, the emotion that underpins powerlessness, when we don't feel powerful in our lives, the number one emotion that is boiling, that is like hot lava underneath the surface of our being is anger. And anger is a very important, crucial human emotion. It's the emotion, it's the energy that drives action. It is the energy that drives to resolve conflict, to create balance, to restore justice. And we have to have a healthy relationship to it, no matter what. If you're afraid of anger or other people's anger, then I will invite you to man or woman the fuck up and start cultivating a healthy relationship with all your emotions, especially anger. Because if you can have a healthy relationship with anger, a lot can change for you, and you will step into your power in a way that you haven't before, and you will not be afraid of much or other people's victimization anymore, because you're like, okay, my anger is not, I'm not angry at Mark, or Mark's not angry at a specific person. He's angry at the situation. Now, if we can name it and we can express it, we can say, okay, what can we change about it? And that anger is an important part of what it means to be human, to change and to grow and to make this world what we want it to be, make our reality and make our lives, make our relationships, and be the type of leaders we want to be.
Yeah, well said. And honestly, I've got to share this because it's on my heart. What Mahir just said and everything Mark's been saying, and Stanley as well, like, this is the masculinity that was missing in my life. And when I met these guys, like, I've been able to actually melt into my femininity, because my emotions and chaos, it doesn't phase them. They will not come down to my level, like, when I'm in that state. And so they hold this presence, and they hold me to a certain vibration. They're like, you're either going to come up or you're not. And I just want to say that because I'm kind of representing the females up in here today. I can't recommend enough that, or bring up the part that to see ourselves and everyone else as powerful, and go into a room and actually embrace the differences that are around us. It will shift so much in your life, just like what everyone here is saying. So I wanted to add that. But Stanley, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I'm pretty complete.
Okay.
I got something I want.
Okay, let's do it, and then we're going to wrap up because we're at our time.
Right, because it's everyday conscious leadership. And then people go, look, what is everyday conscious leadership? And why does it matter? Okay, for all of my friends on both sides that are posting shit about this assassination attempt, you are blowing a chance to lead every time you post something stupid that is one-sided and about your agenda. You think you're doing something. You think you're leading people by getting them fired up with your facts, even though we don't even know if your facts are facts. Yeah? But you're out there. You think that you're being a conscious leader. You're not being a conscious leader. You're leading through your thoughts and feelings. You didn't even fact check that stuff you put on before you said it. And then you blame the other side for doing the exact same thing. That's not leadership. Everyday conscious leadership means that every person that can hear this, and every person that's posting on any form of social media, is a leader. The minute they post something out there, they are trying to get somebody to agree with their voice of knowledge, with the way they think. That's leading them. And you're unconsciously leading people with your thoughts and feelings and making the situation worse. Not one of you is posting anything that will make it better for all of us, just for your side. Just for the people that matter to you. And then you blame everybody else for doing the exact same fucking thing. Everyday leadership is you, how you present in the world, what kind of shit you're putting out there for other people to consume. Because every time somebody buys into some fact that you didn't check, you have led them astray. That's why everyday conscious leadership is fucking important. Because if we're not willing to lead ourselves better, what do you think government's going to do? It's not designed to work for us. You want it to work better? Lead yourselves, but do it consciously.
Amen. Awesome. Thank you, Mark. So yes, thank you everyone who's listening live with us today. I don't see any comments popping up, and anyone who's going to watch this later. This was it doesn't mean anything, but yeah, this was actually a very enjoyable episode to record today. And yeah, as always, look, guys, everyday conscious leadership. It's a global movement. It's a global community. We've got hubs in London, Tampa, Asheville, Berlin. We're building hubs in Warsaw and Paris as well. We have our first global event coming up on August 5th. It's going to happen everywhere in the world at the same time. So it's 10 a.m. August 5th. But there will be more information about that later. Nevertheless, if you want to get involved, you want to be a guest speaker, you want to be a sponsor, you want to come to the events, etc., lead yourself to our DMs. Write one of us, whichever one you like the most, or even the one you feel the most threatened by. I would dare you to that.
That's a better idea.
Yes. And yeah, we'll see you next Monday latest. And yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.